Hello, hello, it's time for more Week 1 action of the After Hours Gaming League. Right now we got Twitter versus Zynga going on. And of course it appears that the match, too many observers, everyone wants to know the results. One person lags and Siggy is the one getting evicted. In the top right, from Team Zynga, we have ShamWow, the blue Zerg. And in the bottom left, the red Protoss from Team Twitter is implausible. It's going to be mass PvZ action. Each one of these games is best of 5 between the two teams. The first 4 matches are set. If it does go to that deciding 5th match, then each team sends out one player to play right on the spot. That is called the ace match. But since we know the lineups for the first 4, I can tell you that it is 4 PvZs in a row to begin the action. It looks like ShamWow going to be beginning with a little bit of spawning pool action. Looks like Zynga likes the fast aggro style openings, whereas of course, as we see in Twitter, is doing an opening that I could describe, but it would require more than 140 characters. We see he is now chrono boosting away, getting his probes out as quickly as possible. There it is. He's going to be doing a 13 gateway at his natural expansion, and there he ends up finding the spawning pool. Knows that there is some sort of aggression coming up. It is going to be an extractor trick as well. So we do see ShamWow from Team Zynga already at 11 of 10 food. And in an implausible situation, he is not going to do that much of a change. Really like this play. He's still going straight for the gas. The only thing he's going to do different is get a really fast Zealot out. We see a pylon popping up. Interestingly, the Cybernetics Core, also an essential part to this early defense, as it will allow him to have somewhat of a wall off. ShamWow now also getting himself a very fast Queen. Implausible from Twitter, just scouting everything. He's keeping this probe in between the Zergling exit path and his own main. Look at that great timing, pulling it back right on time. Sends out the first Zealot. There's the Chrono Boost and the Cybernetics Core, so the Zealot will be able to just barely pop up in time. Now Implausible will return back to the probe production whenever he remembers. So you see one probe beginning to make its way forward. This is actually going to be quite close. It looks like the Zerglings are in fact taking a detour to the Xel'Naga Watchtower. The Zealot pops out, second Zealot coming out as well, and there the probe production does resume. Had a probe there just in case the action got a little too hot. Looks like he is continuing to keep it at the front, getting ready to build something. Now we see the Zerglings beginning to make their way up, and per usual, the Zerg will do as much as he can to try to deal the damage at the front. And we see a pylon going down. Looks like Implausible really worried about some sort of fast all-in, doing some nice control to take no damage on that Zealot. Was just really worried about some sort of run-by. But ShamWow, we can see, has only made those starting Zerglings and has gone right back to drone production. Has gotten a natural expansion hatch of his own. Has begun that creep spread. And of course, actually no, has not yet built a second Queen. Second gas guys are up for Implausible. We also see that there is a Stalker popping out. Great transition, not just to kill off this Overlord, but also these 2 Zealots that he had to make early for defense. He can combine with the Stalker and turn that back around to offense, making those Zealots not a waste at all at the start. First Stalker popping up, and Overlord, ooh, it's going to be close. I don't know if that Overlord's going to be able to get away. We see no gas yet for ShamWow. Going Spanishiwa style. Mass numbers of minerals and low on Zerglings. And the Overlord does get away. ShamWow cannot believe it. He is so shocked. He might just go to jail. We do see that Implausible now, continuing to build up Zealots and Sentries, the usual expand timing. Having a Stalker thrown in that mix, always good. We see Huck very frequently just getting an early Stalker to put on a little bit of pressure and then expanding quite normally. And we see the Zerglings, woo, trying to do some funny monkey business. But of course, Implausible will not let that happen. Team Twitter stands victorious. Pulling the Zealot back, very nice play. Almost has his Cybernetics Core Warp Gate research done. ShamWow now getting himself a Spine Crawler. We see the second Queen en route. The refinery, or excuse me, the extractor has only just now begun morphing. With these 3 gateways out, we're seeing Implausible about ready to do a little bit of sentry production. His gas is a little thrown off due to the fact that he had to do that crazy warp in defense, but he is still going to be expanding about on time. poking forward as well with a Stalker just to get a little bit of poking, scouting information. Now, what the hard part for Zergs is on this map is this giant gaping space over to the left means that you have to build some spine crawlers, or at least have something up to defend this side, while simultaneously having to defend your ramp. It's a little bit difficult to deal with that much space at your front door. ShamWow, whoa, is going to end up seeing this gateway at the front. That's always a little terrifying when you end up seeing a lot of gateways get built at the start and no forges, no robo facilities. It's a big indication that there's going to be a grand attack coming up at around the 9-minute mark. It looks like no forge going down, and Plausible has at least a little bit of defense planned, but still can easily mount a big attack. ShamWow's going to have appropriate defense up. We see still looks like drones getting made, spine crawlers coming out, second gas guys are going down as well. ShamWow's getting the layer upgrade. Has a good amount of money in the bank, but we see it rapidly getting spent as those larvae pop off the hatcheries. Implausible continuing to morph in a lot of sentries, and there's the double Phoenix going out for the scout. This can potentially be a huge danger for the Protoss player. He spends 100 mana for each one of those. Notice that these two sentries that cast him almost dead broke, and suddenly what was once maybe 8 or 9 defensive force fields is suddenly only 4 or 5. It puts the Protoss in a very awkward spot in case there's some kind of all-in. But fortunately, Implausible is going to see no all-in yet. Zerg playing pretty typically, just macroing up. We see the 4 extractors down now. The Zergling speed after the layer goes up. There's the Evo chamber going down as well. 1 photon cannon getting produced, and meanwhile, in camp, Implausible, he is just sticking to gateway units and upgrades, now slithering out with all those sentries through the pylon. Is getting that +1 upgrade, but won't have it for this first attack. Zerglings starting to pick off the destructible rocks. 16 Zerglings now getting made. ShamWow sees it. He sees a huge push coming out, pulling his overlords away. He did have control over the watchtower up until moments ago. Implausible just going to move out, kill that off, and retreat. And ooh, everyone knows I love this. Really fast Zergling attack upgrade. My favorite upgrade for Zerg is the +2 melee attack, as that causes my banelings to kill your probes in one blast, baby. Overseer from ShamWow, just like those hallucinated phoenixes, getting a chance to see absolutely everything inside the Protoss base. We see all the Protoss units just hugging this right side where the new assimilator is popping down, and ShamWow, depressingly, gets to see everything and escapes with his life. Good technique is to not let Overseers do that. And it looks like Team Twitter's Implausible going to be continuing the Zealot production, interestingly. Very low on Stalkers. Stalkers tends to be the more frequently built unit for the Protoss in the mid-game. Infestor Pathogen Glands going down. ShamWow looks like he's going for an interesting Zergling Infestor mixture. We see that stopping at 42 probes, or excuse me, 42 drones. You know, a lot of Zergs have been doing the, I'm just going to build drones until one point in the game and then only build units after that. But we're seeing a lot of Zergs stop at a really low drone count, something like around 40 to 50, and begin just massing Zerglings, massing units, and then putting counter pressure back on the opponent. And while that counter pressure is happening, that's when the Zerg comes back and begins to make those drones once again. So it's really exciting to see this sort of new style. A lot of Zergs have been employing this. Slush, Destiny, just to name a few. And of course ShamWow, bam! How could I forget ShamWow? The most salient example of said strategy. We see Implausible beginning to advance forward. Oh, the army of Twitter units! Advancing forward, tweeting the hashtag death incoming. That's right. Uh-oh. There it is, approaching the southern expansion. Oh, we see now, it looks like. Alright, trying to remove that joke from the screen. We see the Zerglings now surrounding and picking off one of the Stalkers, but Implausible with some nice force fields, managing to pick off this expansion for free, building a pylon up on the high ground. The Zerglings were busy knocking out these destructible rocks in the center. Infestors are moving forward, though. Amazingly, Implausible is so low on the typical Stalker mix that suddenly ShamWow's Zergling Heavy Force is not nearly going to be as strong, and they have the +1 attack, which means that these Zealots are going to do 2 hits instead of 3 to kill off these Zerglings. Huge damage being dealt by the Zealots. Almost no Zealots have been lost. Some great force fields managed to snag off some of those Infestors, but some more fungal growths also dealing damage to the Zealots. Suddenly, ShamWow's opening, very new school in nature, in a lot of trouble due to this unusually Zealot-heavy mixture from the Twitter Protoss. Implausible now does have those 6 gates up. He does have Blink going down on the Twilight Council. The armor upgrade is nearing completion. He will be at 1-1, and most importantly, can promptly start that upgrade for the +2 attack. 3 Infestors out at this point in time, and we do see that one little Templar Archive sneaking its way into the back. We also see a robotics facility going down at the back corner of the main, allowing him to get some observers up to pick off some of those creep tumors. Phoenix now going to re-scout the hatchery, the mid to late game Phoenix, one of the biggest strengths of solid Protosses. Sure, scouting it right at the start gives you a big chance to know what's going on, do the big deviations at the outset, but suddenly we can begin to do some cool army positioning moves with these hallucinated Phoenixes by getting great spots off. We see now the +1 carapace, +2 melee attack getting started. Baneling Nest incoming as well. ShamWow utilizing the very Morrow-esque style of oodles and oodles of Zergling, Baneling, Infestor. Meantime, it does look like this one pylon can warp into that hatchery, but Implausible's going to wait for that hatch to finish. ShamWow from Zynga in a lot of trouble. There's the +2 ground weapon coming in. Gateway getting constructed again for Implausible. Just wants to continue to apply pressure. Not going to go for any expand, just committing to a huge attack. Would like to see Implausible take out this destructible rock that would allow him to take an expansion in this time of passivity. We see the creep spread still extending for ShamWow across the front lip, trying to defend this base, but now that this is done, we see the creep spread popping out. Looks like Protoss knows exactly what's up. Overlords continuing to be spread around the map. There's a drop upgrade going down into layer. So that way, again, he can do the +2 Baneling hits. Will he begin morphing some Banelings? We don't see any on the map at this point in time, just those 68 Zerglings. And there it is, the Zealot warp in, immediately starting to take out that hatch. And oh no, Implausible's full army swinging in through the left side. It looks like ShamWow might be forced to sack that again. He does have a giant pack of Infestors, 9 right now, and those packed juicy Zealots would be so great to fungal growth. But his unit's out of position. He's going to let the Expo fall. 10 Banelings getting morphed in. Baneling speed nearing completion. ShamWow continuing to just make Ling, Baneling, Infestor. Implausible advancing forward with an army that could take a lot of damage from this Baneling Infestor mix. This could actually be huge for ShamWow if he gets off some key fungal growths. Virtually no force fields remaining on these sentries. Just about, well, like 10. I guess that's a lot, but still, it's not comparable to the usual 8 and 9 sentries you have during those mid-game pushes. It's all going to come down to some key fungal growths. We see the +2 armor is going down at this evolution chamber. In the center, more Zealots from Implausible, having a good read on his opponent, seeing that it's a Zergling heavy, not going to make that mistake of sticking to the Stalkers. +2 now almost finished, just a few seconds away. ShamWow now repositioning, continuing to add on those larvae. And now Implausible is just going to pull back. He amazingly has not seen the Zerg able to get an expansion up. Implausible's been doing a good job of keeping the Zynga Zergs expanding in check. And ooh, ShamWow looks like he has a little bit of a drop action planned. Is there one of those Baneling Overlords swinging around to deal massive damage to the worker line? We see that the main for the Twitter Protoss almost mined out. Same for the Zynga Zerg. I didn't realize how incredibly fun it was to say Zynga Zerg. And don't you worry, there are 2 more Zynga Zergs in the lineup other than this one. I'll be saying that plenty and plenty. We do see more Zealots getting morphed in. It looks like the destructible rocks are going to fall. They get taken down. Implausible trying to take that bottom right expansion. This pylon's still up. Same hatchery attempt going down again. But ooh, it looks like the Zynga Zerg again going to get a nice opportunity to put on some pressure. One of the first times actually this game he's gotten that opportunity. Zergling's getting dropped. And it looks like Implausible does not yet notice. He's just now moving his Zerglings away, morphing in those Zealots. Oh, the Zealots just rip apart the Zerglings with such ease. I mean, with that +2 attack, we see no Zealots get lost. But still, ShamWow doing a good job making sure that that creep stays directly over that expansion. Money's getting increasingly high for ShamWow. He's loaded up the Banelings to do a Baneling bomb on the army, layer down, morphing into a hive. We also see a Spires coming in, could be going for those pesky Broodlords. At the same time, we see Zealot with leg speed. We see that Storm is done. We see Kadarin Amulet, not a legal upgrade in this game anymore. And Colossi popping out as well with that essential range upgrade. And it looks like this Overlord, looks like is not going to get spotted. We see another Overlord with Banelings moving in. The remainder still sitting at the natural expansion. ShamWow continuing to make Infestors, He's getting the Adrenal Gland upgrade, the plus 20% damage. Zergling's finally now killing off this one pylon. Implausible is maxed with a Zealot-heavy army. It's going to work great against the Zerglings, but not so great against those Banelings. And we do see, though, where is it? Where is it? There it is. We see the Overlord full of Banelings moving in from both sides. Uh-oh. Ooh, with the main being essentially mined out, there's really most of the workers clustered over here, but at the same time, Implausible moving over to this third base from ShamWow again, and it looks like ShamWow just going to go for it, but oh no, he gets spotted at the last second. No, actually, never mind. He's just pulling him back because it's not quite done yet, and uh-oh, there's a good fungal growth going down, but in an awful bottleneck. Oh no, the Zerg's getting caught in a terrible position, taking huge damage. Some big Baneling bombs kill off a lot of Zealots. But we do see that the Baneling bomb at the natural expansion did not manage to kill off the probe that was needed. More fungal growths going down, but that Colossus's range so good. The Corruptors only just now pop out. ShamWow trying to get some sort of defense. Twitter, it appears, might be able to pull off a big win in Game 1. More Stalkers coming in. The hash falls. Fungal growth's trying to go off. Banelings again for the reload, but it looks like Implausible just spreading out his units brilliantly, only losing a couple of Stalkers at that outset. And now Implausible blinking forward, ShamWow in a lot of trouble, still trying to morph some more Zerglings in to do some kind of miracle defense. And there's the GG. Twitter will come out to the early lead, winning Game 1 of Twitter versus Zynga here at the After Hours Gaming League. Let's jump into game number 2.